Hello everyone, and welcome to the next iSH podcast in the series of podcasts with key stakeholders and businesses that showcases the fantastic capability that we have in West Cumbria. I'm absolutely delighted to have Craig Branney here with me today. He is the head of Sellafield's Engineering Centre of Excellence. Welcome, Craig.
Yeah, thank you.
So, can you please explain what the Centre of Excellence is exactly?
Yeah, so when we originally set the Centre of Excellence up 5.5 years ago, so it was the time of the Friday before the first COVID lockdown, number one, it was an opportunity for engineering at Sellafield to move off-site and see if we could basically run a set of projects without all of the red tape, support the NHS if needed, so run some projects there in terms of 3D printers. We had a vapor cannon, we had the visors for the care homes all going out. So it was kind of born out of problem solving. So it was a mixture between innovation and remote handling team. And then I kind of said at the time when it started moving quite quickly that I kept it quite flexible and agile. And then as the facility has evolved, it's the best way I'd describe it now is a problem-solving facility for Sellafield and the wider nuclear estate.
Amazing. So it was actually originally born out of COVID, and it was to solve some of the problems that people were facing as a result of COVID, not necessarily for the site. Was that for the public and for the community, or was it specifically the site?
There'd always been a big ambition to try and get engineering off-site because we definitely seen that there was potential there that we could do a lot more by being off-site in a location like this. And that was one of the benefits for us of COVID, that it helped us get that push. At the time, I had some really good senior line managers and support from directors that went, from an engineering team at Sellafield, can you go out and run a set of projects for the NHS and see if we can build? So we built a rapid prototype ventilator in 48 hours.
Wow.
So you had some wonderfully clever graduates that were amazing and absolutely loved being in an area where they could be free to kind of let their imagination run wild, but then also have a really good go at proving that concept. So that was how it was born.
Wow, that's a fantastic story that, you just sort of jumped into how can we help mode. And then as a result of that, you've ended up with something that we're in today, which is here to solve some of the world's biggest challenges in the nuclear sector. So it sort of pivoted, I guess, after it did the initial job that it was meant to do.
We kind of picked the right people where we said, right, I was head of remote handling on site at the time, and it was split your team in two, but bring the right people down they can basically see a dusty floor, but they can turn that into a vision and they can see what it could be, not what it is. Amanda's UAV team has grew into what is a world-class service that's offered to the full nuclear industry.
Right.
And Amanda's been in every part of the facility as well, from started off in Bay 1, ended up in Bay 5, and then took over full Bay 6 and 7 as Remote Technologies Group. So again, that's one massive success story, that being based at an off-site facility in Cleatamore has enabled world-class UAV capability in West Cumbria.
That's an amazing story. I mean, it is fantastic that we've got this sort of world-leading, progressive, technology-forward space here where these solutions are found.
Yeah, but that was the bit that in the nuclear industry we don't quite give ourselves full credit for what we do. We sometimes just call it Monday morning and go on to the next challenge of Monday afternoon. And that was, again, what was always kind of stressed to me was nuclear needs to sell itself better, but it's even selling itself better to the local community, where when we started here, we'd done some work with St. Patrick's Catholic School in Cleatamore, and it was like, go and do a talk to the kids around UAVs and ROVs, and I think it was myself and one of our supply chain partners, Ian Henderson from Ineftech, and we went and we talked to the kids, and you go, right, this is what we do at Sellafield, and what do you want to do when you're older? And they all say footballer. think there was one kid did say doctor, but most of them were footballers. And then we done a return visit to the facility, and you had 40-year, 5-year, 6 kids. So that's 10 and 11-year-olds, 9, 10, 11-year-olds running through the facility, showing them what's being done in Cleatamua in terms of innovation and world firsts. So all of a sudden, from going from what's the best thing about Cleatamua, the kebab shop matter, is actually what do you want to be when you're old? UAV pilot.
Oh, wow.
I want to be an ROV pilot. And all of a sudden that was kind of an eye opener.
Yeah.
Where what that done, because one of the remits that the site director and chief engineer Michael Ditchburn, site director Steve Bostock at the time said, change the culture. Don't build Sellafield 2, and you've got an opportunity now to change the culture. So you kind of think, yeah, letting people do the job, that's one of them. But where the kids come in, it lifted everyone in the facility, and all of a sudden it was like almost an eye-opener where you go, well, there's something in that actually opening the doors to the community. Yes, it's really good to show the young kids and inspire them and say, no, you've got world-class things happening on your doorstep in Cleatamua that are better than the Co-op and better than the NISA, because we're actually doing world-class innovations that can go right around the world. So it was the eye-opener of going, we can do more. And then that's obviously set Claire O'Connor, our social impact lead there, on that kind of set Claire on the journey of, right, if we can do more, then we are going to do more.
So it sounds like a really diverse set of things that you do here. So, I mean, and I've walked with you through the bays a number of times, and I'm always really impressed with what I see. So can you talk us through, just for the audience to understand the range of things that happen here in the different bays one by one, and then to understand that sort of education and training piece as well?
Yeah, I'll try and keep it brief. But yeah, so as I say, when we started off, there was 5 bays, and it's evolved to 7 bays and a command and control office. The command and control office keeps us legal and safe. So it ensures that everything's done to the right standard, but the right standard being the right control measure for the right hazard, instead of going overboard or anything like that. So them guys, whatever work comes in, they figure it all out and make sure that you've got right risk assessment, method statement, and basically do whatever we need them to do, including create a studio out of a VR bay at very short notice.
Yeah.
They're brilliant. So then we go into Bay 1. So we've got, in Bay 1, we've got a hydraulic predator manipulator arm. So this is one of our copy arms from our pile fuel cladding silo. So we've got it mocked up in the bay. We run sprint projects, which I'll go into a little bit later. We run sprint projects, we run any kind of project, we run training, we run upskilling, and we just try and mimic the real life site as much as we can to enhance the operations of that facility. So again, it's trying to best use the space whenever we can, whenever the site needs us to upskill people on the arm. We've been doing a lot of work lately on, they've got faults with the one on site, so the team have been coming down and taking the wrist to bits and practicing putting the wrist back together, in a safe environment where you don't need 3 pairs of rubber gloves on to trade, because that is quite a skill.
Yeah, so we're talking about, for anyone that doesn't know what a predator arm is, this is a kind of big robotic arm. It's sort of a big mechanical...
Yeah, big mechanical hydraulic manipulator arm. Yeah. So it basically kind of goes out and it does the housekeeping. So what that robot
grabs
does,
stuff, it moves stuff, it cleans stuff.
Yeah,
from what
it's
I've seen.
A very expensive housekeeper, I think. Yeah. So yeah, in bay number 2. So bay number 2 is our skills enhancement bay, where we do a lot of upskilling with our apprentices, with our contract colleagues, with our supply chain. We also do work experience in that bay. We get kids from the community coming in to use that bay, and we try and put activities to suit whatever level the person is at in that bay. So again, it's just a safe place to practice. What we've found with our work experience program, so we've won multiple awards nationally, locally, is that we keep evolving them as well, where the kids want to put their hands on something physical. They want to take it to bits and put it back together. They don't necessarily want to be told about engineering. They really want that work experience part to be work experience. So we listen. So we have a site van and we go out and we do school visits locally as well. And it's a case of we put as much as we can into that van. So as we're taking something for every kid that's there that they can practice that engineering activity. But then we can also be a bit more targeted when that is the request from the school. So again, it's trying to do as much as we can when that isn't necessarily the day job either. So the team are doing it out of the passion that they've got and trying to fit it in as and where they can.
Yeah.
So yeah, on to Bay Free.
Yeah.
So Bay Free is very much that kind of preventative smart maintenance bay. So this is where we've got a condition-based monitoring, engineering and technology rig set up to where we can test new technologies that come in onto it. We're looking at, we do a lot of proof of concept on the new sensoring technologies that come in. So sensoring technologies that can go on motors, on pumps, and then basically predict the life cycle of that asset by how it's working. We've got a oil monitoring lab in the back of the facility. So again, what that does is for oils, fluids and greases, it can check the condition of them. So it's a very simple tool to go, well, you need to change your oil or you don't need to change your oil, but it just gives you intelligence. It's all usable data that you can make decisions on.
It's like having your indicator in your car that says you need to change your oil, but you don't have that in a nuclear facility typically. So it's useful to have that technology that you can use, and you have those sensors that just tell you, this is how I'm going to look after my facility to make sure that it runs as best it can.
It is, absolutely. And it's all around that for nuclear is, right, how do we get that in? So BP have got it over 40,000 assets and we're very much at the start of that journey, but we're excited by it. We're driving it really hard. We're getting into site deliveries and we want to make that difference in the nuclear industry from West Cumbria. So it's really positive. Also in Bay Free, we've got a really strong 3D printing additive manufacturing capability, which again, that's one of the fun things for the facility where you can come up with an idea, a concept, and then these guys can print it and turn it into a reality. So we use it a lot for prototyping. We use it a lot for reverse engineering. And yeah, it's something that the guys used. I don't know if anybody's seen the Baton of Hope that come through.
Yeah, of course.
Cumbria.
Really impressive.
A couple of weeks ago, and it started off in facility. And again, it was something that we were like super proud of, that we could contribute in some small way to the wonderful stories that we heard. And it was where the guys ended up going, right, well, actually what we'll do, we'll walk Spot in with the Baton of Hope. So Spot will kind of pass it over. So
Spot being the robotic dog.
The robotic dog, the quadruped.
Yeah.
So the guys like to call it the quadruped. I'll get in trouble for that as well. So we've got our quadruped, which is a four-legged robot that looks like a dog. So we, what they're then doing, they designed all the brackets that for the Baton of Hope. So it was a case of you could design and print a bracket to go onto the back of the quadruped that then the Baton of Hope could be attached onto.
Amazing.
And something like that was done with extremely short notice, and the team were in on the Sunday morning, kind of finishing it off last minute. But again, it was, you know, from being, it's one of the great things about being in the community in Cleatamore is that you can do things like that. So yeah, in Bay 4, something that we're really proud of as well. So this is where we run our 6-week sprint projects. So the 6-week sprint projects are basically 6 people on a team, a very varied bunch, but heavily graduate based. And they get a problem, so a real live nuclear problem, and then they work on that for 6 weeks. We do a lot of people development during that 6 week with Centre for Leadership Performance. We have Resolve supporting us from the supply chain, so there's different touch points. So you're trying to give the people on the sprint the best possible chance to come up with the best solution and have the most wonderful time for 6 weeks, because it flies in completely. So we run 20 of them a year. We run 4 of them at a time. The base kind of split into 4 quadrants as they do it. They split into their own teams, but then they all kind of link in as they go through it. The results are absolutely fantastic. It's something that we when we started off in facility running these sprints, I was struggling for work. I was struggling for people. I was struggling for people to come to the outbrief, and now the outbrief's up to like 120 people coming to listen to these 6 individuals, feed back what they found for the problem statement, and then what my team do is try and take that into delivery and say, right, where can we deliver it so it shows that all of the work that the guys have done is value added.
Yeah, it's always really, really fun to see the sprints and the teams that are coming together and how they're from such diverse backgrounds and sectors and things, but they have that passion and that enthusiasm wanting to come up with a solution, and they're really proud of their work, and the
It's
feeding
good.
back.
It's good, and they have the lulls. So we know, like, we've learned so much. I one of the things that I say about my full organization is it's a learning organization. So we learn all the time, and I always say it's that continuous improvement without having to physically say to them, right, you need a continuous improvement objective. It's like, no, it's embedded. It's the culture. It kind of goes in there. So what we do is learn. There's going to be peaks and troughs in the sprints. So the guys, like us all, I know the answer to that. I've got all these solutions. They're absolutely brilliant. We've got it. And then the customer comes and goes, no, you haven't.
Do that.
That isn't going to work on my plant. And they kind of go into a little bit of a lull, but then they go back to the drawing board. They go back to the ideation stage, the creation stage. And it's kind of like, that's really inspiring for us to watch, for them then to kind of go back up the roller coaster.
Yeah.
But we know what to watch for now. We know where to help them. We are expanding out into our 5th sprint. So we're going to run 5 at a time in November. So we're going to do a iSH sponsored digital sprint. So we're kind of working the detail out of that. Like most things, we haven't got the detail figured out. We've just got the idea. But that's how we kind of run our business. I always say it's a lot of chaos, but my team's job is to embrace that chaos and just make it something. So at the moment, we're in the chaos stage for that one.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to kind of how this all links into iSH, but we are very excited about the digital sprint that we want to run, working with our digital cluster. And we want to see that come together and be something that's going to actually bring a solution to a real life problem. I think that's a really exciting opportunity.
As I say, it's good for us as well to kind of do a digital one, do it a little bit differently, use the same kind of culture that we've built. And for a term that we overuse, it's like, right, yeah, what is the art of the possible with it? So I say that, then on to Bay 5, where we currently sit now in our new studio that we've set up. So we've transformed Bay 5 into a studio, which is really cool. That it didn't take much doing.
So this is the VR suite. Normally, this whole bay is the VR suite where solutions are found, and actually, from what I've seen, you use VR to create again a mimic of a simulation of a facility on site, which then you can use to train people on how to solve some of the challenges within that facility.
The team, we've classed them as the emerging technology team, but where they've been focused for a couple of years is VR, and what they've achieved is wonderful. It's a real achievement that has been recognised nationally and at Beck BC as well, so we're really proud of that. So the team built an electrical nominations project, so basically to put on an electrical isolation on site. So to make it safe before you work on it, you need to isolate it. To be able to isolate, you need to go through a nomination process, which can be quite a timely process, because the only way you can practice is to actually physically put on an electrical isolation. So what the team done was build in virtual space a copy of a plant room on site that you can practice putting on the isolation, and then take them through the course. And it is really, really good. They've had probably now 400 people through the course. We're still on 99% positive feedback, which blew us away because we didn't expect that. Yeah. They've got the mechanical course now, like really close to being able to go. We've got a plant library that they've built. So again, that means you can build your library and then you can react to your problem a lot quicker. So that's the kind of challenge now with the team is you've built this wonderful thing in VR. So right now, how do we make this quicker on a day-to-day basis of solving problems? How do you do it quicker? So again, that team will evolve to the next phase, which we're really looking forward to. So then on to bay number 6 and 7. So that is the remote technologies group combined, which is remote operated vehicles, UAVs, which is unmanned aerial vehicles, and then the robotics team. So they all sit under remote technologies group. So again, it's one of our favorite organizations because what they are trying to do is solve problems in the air, on the ground, and in the sea. So they love coming to a room that hasn't been in for 40 years. And I said that to one of the guys the other day, and he went, no, 80 years now. And I'm like, so again, every time I go down, the correctors or again teach me something new about their equipment, what they're doing, the scans that they can do now. Again, is like leading the nuclear estate from Base 7 in West Cumbria. They have the quadruped dog, commonly known as Spot, from Boston Dynamics, and they are the key partner in Boston Dynamics nuclear kind of adventure, where them guys are speaking to them on a quarterly basis. Boston Dynamics come over, which again for us is just so cool when you think about you've got like one of the biggest robotics manufacturers in the world comes to Sellafield and to Cleatamore to go, where can we help you? Where can we develop the technology next? Where have you been using it at? And then we've got Amanda's UAV team that have worked with Helios in Switzerland to develop the internal flying UAV from version 1 up to version 3. And I think Amanda was a keynote speaker at their last forum, which is, again, it's like really crazy when you think about where we've come from, which was just a small desk with one UAV on, and then it's just grew because the capability is there for everyone to see. So again, from a remote inspection point of view, I always like to say in Bay 7, where Remote Technologies Group are, there is nowhere in the world that the capability will be in that one space like it is in that bay. And again, it's Cleatamore, it's the local community, it's West Cumbria, it's stuff that we should be really proud of, and we should be shouting from the rooftops, and we should be going, but how do we help the rest of the nuclear industry get up to our standard?
Yeah. So how I see this being linked to what iSH is here to do and the purpose of iSH, it's almost like, to me, it's always like a model of what iSH wants to be and what it will be, but on a scaled up version. So where you say you work with Resolve, which is the consortium between Core, Nuclear Solutions, Forth, React and Comms, you're then working with the supply chain to help take the sprints through and develop the solutions. The intention for iSH is to do a similar thing, but on a bigger scale. So really taking those challenges out to the whole of the supply chain and ensuring that the supply chain is much more involved with bringing solutions to the site, but not only to the Sellafield site, but to other sites across the NDA estate, across the nuclear industry as a whole, and across potentially national, other sectors, international as well. So it's very much kind of looking at how you do things and then looking at how we can scale those concepts out and up.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I feel like what we've got here is a really good model. We've got a model that we've built that is flexible and agile and is definitely ready to do more. And it's that part of, that's where I look to iSH and go, absolutely, sell it around the estate. And by sell it, it's empowering the supply chain to go out and know who to talk to. It's then that builds the credibility of the estate going, so can I give you a problem? And you go, well, yeah, of course you can. Would you like to give us some people as well to come on it? It's a 6-week development program. It's really good. And that model of the sprints leads to extra work. So one sprint can spit out 6 jobs.
Right.
So them 6 jobs don't necessarily need to go to one supply chain partner, that can go to 6. And then if you're doing 4 sprints at a time, spitting out 6 jobs, and then so you can see where you've kind of got that domino effect of where you can create more work for the supply chain. So we've always been encouraged right from day dot around the postbox idea for Sellafield, where we always joked around it being Patty's postbox, where you'd get the problem in and then you'd have the capability on Sellafield Industrial Estate to solve that problem. How I kind of see that is iSH is the postbox and Cumbria is the table where the capability exists to solve the problem. My job is to get that problem offsite and get it to the postbox. And there's lots of different ways of doing that. Yeah. And one thing that my team do really well, and myself, is we sell a lot. You know, it's kind of sell. And it's not trying to sell somebody, it's trying to sell the capability of how can I help you solve the problem. And even though we're from nuclear, it's still a hard nut to crack. Yeah. We're very much, all of my team have come from the front line. So there's a really big respect for everybody that's on the front line that's working there, and we're going, how can we help you? So, I've got lots of friends, and I come from the background of working in a sea-free area with 3 pair of rubber gloves and suit on every day, and it was just normality. It was just Monday morning, and that's what you do. But you want to come up with solutions that can help, whether it's help on that, we always say faster, safer, cheaper.
Yeah.
But if we can make a solution that helps someone be a little bit safer in the job, like a UAV means you don't have to build scaffold, you don't have to put people on fragile roofs to inspect them, we feel very committed to go on. That's what we want to do. And, we appreciate that all of what we do within the Engineering Centre of Excellence has to go back to Sellafield site. So one shape, way, form or another, that's the ambition.
Yeah. And I'm really excited because we are getting closer to that post-box concept, I think, in terms of running our programs within iSH. So we have now got our 3 clusters, which are the robotics cluster, the manufacturing cluster, and the digital cluster. So I kind of feel like we're starting to emulate your different bays. So the VR bay is kind of like our digital cluster. We've got all sorts of IT, telecoms, and some of that extended reality simulation type capability within that cluster. We've got the robotics cluster that obviously includes, everything from UAVs, underwater drones, the quadrupeds, everything is included in there. And then we also have our manufacturing cluster that is under development, and we're working very closely with the Sellafield Manufactured Products Organisation that sits alongside yourself to develop that cluster out and ensure that we have a stronger, more resilient and more diverse supply chain for Sellafield and for the rest of the nuclear industry, coming out of Cumbria, but also nationally, and working together collaboratively. So I think we're starting to see the ways in which we can create that post-box concept. So we're starting to talk to some of the big contractors at Sellafield who basically own a lot of those contracts, own a lot of those projects, and they own the problem almost. And we're saying to them, bring some of those problems to the table to speak to the small and medium-sized enterprises, the SMEs in the region, and see if they can bring solutions to you for those challenges. And that's what they've started to do. So we actually are seeing them start to work with the SMEs and bring those challenges to the table. And the SMEs are coming forward and saying, yes, we can solve that problem. We've got the technology to do that. And it's really exciting to see that. That's real progress, I feel, within iSH that's now starting to take place. So coming up with lots of different ways in which we can cut it. Some's going to be more kind of the early stage technology development and R&D and startup type of areas. And then some of it's going to be more the sort of project delivery side of it and challenges that exist on site that need an answer and need it urgently in some cases. But yeah, we're going to be doing quite a good mix of that stuff.
Yeah, and what there is there's enough challenges out there. So it's kind of like, it's that part of, we've just got to figure out how to be that catalyst that gets the right challenge to that right person. And it's the bit about, again, a lot of it comes with credibility of delivery. And again, it's kind of you've just got to keep learning. So it's that part of, you can go down one route to try and deliver, or you can go down another. And what you've got to do, the team here have built up a wonderful resilience because of this, is that it doesn't always work. Sometimes you've got to go with a different kind of conversation, or sometimes it doesn't work. So it just, even though your best intentions it just doesn't. So it's kind of like, I always say, thick skin and resilience and the supply chain are brilliant. They've lived with us for so long. And it's that part of, again, we've got wonderful local supply chain that people can come in from other parts of the country as well and enhance that, and we're quite happy with all of that. And again, the supply chain understand that the work is there, and they sometimes frustratingly look on us as we just want that work. And we try our best, definitely, and we're getting there. We think about where we've come from here, and we keep evolving. I think we've built a lot of trust up, like with the likes of Resolve, with Centre for Leadership Performance, with the people that we work with, company Red Engineering in Hexham. So I know that isn't quite West Cumbria, but they are, fantastic engineering capability. And we've done a few projects with Red as well that we're really proud of. And I think that's the part where what you find when you walk around the facility in the organisation here is that everyone will give you time. Everyone will stop and talk to you. And you find today I'm pulling people going, have you got 5 minutes? And then 15 minutes later, they're still talking to us about their equipment, about their objective, about their job. And I think that's what it makes the place different, definitely.
I'm glad you've come around to that again, because I wanted to sort of delve a bit deeper into that and understand for you personally, where has this all come from? You know, there's such an obvious passion in you, and you've got this initiative, this need to drive this, and I can see that it's not just about technological challenges or Sellafield site, or there's something about community, about people here. Where is it all coming from? Why does Craig Branney love to do this?
Yeah, I think I always think about kind of what my background was. So it's kind of from being younger, always being really competitive. Where they always used to joke, if I was walking down the street, I had to walk down faster than anybody else.
Really?
And it was like, I sometimes think it's like I'm always trying to win. I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to win, but I'm always trying to win. Or it's like, what race am I racing? I'm racing myself sometimes. But so yeah, my background was racing motocross since I was 6, so that was really good. I obviously got us interested in engineering, and I was really lucky there. Where, as I said, there was me and my brother raced, and so we got a lot of support from family and stuff like that. We're up and down the country. My nephew's doing it now, and he's here, there, and everywhere. And I look on, and I'm thinking, yeah, brilliant. Look, he's doing absolutely fantastic. But there's no part of me going, yeah, I'm really jealous of my brother going to all of these different places all the time. I'm quite happy at home, but it's that part of that kind of drives you. I ended up going into Speedway at 17. That was when it come back to Workington. So Workington Comets come back in 99, 2000. I think I started kind of having a look at moving into it there. And then I ended up with a 10-year career from there, where I raced for lots of different tracks up and down the country. Had a good career, some of that I really enjoyed. But what that done there was I carried on working all the way through. So it was really clear with me. My parents kind of sat us down, specifically my mum, and said, if you want to race, you will build yourself an apprenticeship as well, so you'll get a trade behind you.
Right.
And then it was a case of you come out of your apprenticeship and you start getting paid full-time wage, and you're not going to kind of drop that to go racing full-time. So she kind of knew what she was doing that way.
Sensible.
Yeah.
Voice
so
kicks
we
in,
just
yeah.
ended up racing full-time, working full-time. So it was almost like working around the clock. So what that done was building a strong resilience that it was like, the example I give to people is racing at the Isle of Wight on a Tuesday night. So we used to set off on a Monday night after work. You'd have the van packed and you'd go down, you'd stop at a service station halfway down, just keeping the van. Then you'd go down to the ferry down at Portsmouth. You'd go over to Isle of Wight. You'd race at night. You'd jump the bikes back into the van. You'd try and catch the 10 o'clock ferry. So then you could get back into Portsmouth at like 11, then you're jumping onto the motorway, and then you're trying to get home for 6:30 so I could get in the car and go to work. And it was like, that happened quite a lot.
That's commitment to excellence.
Yeah. So that was where
different kind.
I had wonderful help from, like, my dad was my mechanic. My friend Minnie was there as my fuel and oil man and doing all the driving. So it was like we just shared everything. But it kind of built in that resilience of trying to make something work, really enjoying it. And then it was really good racing locally for Workington. So that was like something that me and my brother both done. And it was that always give you that really strong community feel and going, right, well, what can we do better here? And then I got this amazing opportunity to be off-site. And then you're looking at, I said, my wife's a deputy head teacher at Valley Primary School in Whitehaven. And that is a school that needs all the support that it can get. So then you think, well, we can do that. We can support it. So why shouldn't we? And they're not looking for money. They're not looking for out like that. They're looking for time. Right. And that's what you find with all these schools, that they're looking for time. So I'm a vice chair of the governors at Seaton Junior School, where that's like completely different out of my comfort zone as well. But again, it's like that really proud thing to give something back, and it can be behind the scenes. I'm all right with it being behind the scenes. It's again, it's that, how do you give something back? How do you inspire that next generation? And I've always really felt proud of working for Sellafield. So what baffled me when I started as an apprentice was everybody's view from outside of the fence that Sellafield is a lazy place where people don't do much work. And I'm there working in a workshop on manipulator arms that have been used in Cell, and working on cranes. We're working on all this like really cool stuff. And everyone's gone, yeah, he's doing out there. And I'm going, no, I'm working on like, what is a nuclear robot? What is a nuclear crane? And I'm like super proud of all of that. And I've never lost any of that all the way through. I am really proud to work in the nuclear industry for Sellafield and representing them wherever we go. So I've always viewed, I'd like to change the narrative on how people see Sellafield. So then I kind of ended up with that opportunity here.
Yeah.
Maybe not on purpose, but it evolved to that. And I remember when we done an opening day, and I got like our MD at the time to pilot the quadruped dog through a banner. And like, I couldn't believe that we'd managed to kind of like come up with that idea, but then convince him to do it. So it was our CEO, Martin Choud at the time.
Brilliant.
Where we went, yeah, we need you to pilot that dog through the banner. And he just looked, and he wasn't going to do it. But then Emma Jane Gooch stepped in and was like, I'll sort it. I'll get him to do it. And she did. So again, it was that part of the, I can't remember, it was BBC or ITV reporter at the time came in, and they were looking round, and it was very early days, but they were like, wow, we've never been allowed in Sellafield before. And I'm like, does he know it's Clayton Moore? But I got him. But what he meant was we'd never seen behind the scenes. So all of a sudden we've got this wonderful opportunity to do some good in the community, but change the narrative on Sellafield. We set out to solve problems, but then so much extra has come from that is really good and really positive. And then that is where 100% we look at iSH to go, well, keep it going, but keep it going and make it bigger, make it better. That's what I want. I want to make it bigger. I want to reach more people. I want to do more, but I want to solve more problems as well. That's just the output of reaching people and doing more is the output of if we solve really good problems.
Yeah. And I love that we are here real time, potentially dispelling those myths that you know, those wrong perceptions that people have about what's going on site, because this is a place to be really proud of, and the capability that we've got both on the site at Sellafield and in the whole region, in the community, in the supply chain is
I think there was I always come back to, got stories for man and dog, but like one story that really opened my eyes, it was when I was on site. It was a few years ago, and the call come through, there's some manipulator arms that need commissioned in Chernobyl.
Right.
So you're kind of going, yeah. So
wow.
then and it was with through our supply chain colleague John McGibbon, and John's going, would you be able to do this? And I'm going, well, yeah, let's start scoping it out. So we started doing that work, and long story short, I managed to get a team of myself and 3 people from site. One person, Calvin, who I'm still working with today, who was down, shown as a quadruped before.
Oh, okay,
so Calvin, he was actually working as a planner, but I pulled him into this team of, let's go and fix some manipulators in Chernobyl. So it was like, you're kind of looking at all of that, and you're going, so I got all of the scope, the guys figured it all out, and we're going, yeah, we can do this. We know we can. We do it on a daily basis. Yeah, it's a slightly different bit. We don't know fully what we're going to, but in the best possible way, yeah, let's have a go. So again, it unfortunately fell down at a legal point of view, but what that opened my eyes to was they were going, this job that is our Monday morning bread and butter, they want us to go and do it because there's nobody else that wants to do it or can do it. So it was kind of again going, oh my God, yeah, Cumbria, Sellafield, within Sellafield's fence, outside of Sellafield's fence, have got this amazing capability that the rest of the world really needs, and we don't give ourselves that credit. So that stuck in my head, and it will till the day I retire out like that. I mean, maybe one day there'll be a chance to go to Chernobyl or out, but again,
we'll have to arrange that.
Yeah, it would be brilliant. But again, it's to solve the problems, and that's what we want to do. We are problem solvers. And it's the bit where we learn on the 6-week sprint process. So we're trying to say to the guys, don't just jump to solution. And that's why I always joke I have to keep Mark Telford away from them from Forth. So Forth Engineering
Yes.
MD, because Mark's got every solution straight away.
He's told me I can work it out by the end of the day. Every time.
You don't need 6 weeks, Craig. I've already got it. I'm like, it's not quite the point, Mark. But again, Forth Engineering are a wonderful local company that we work with.
Absolutely.
We love doing the lead and learn thing with Forth, and we get so much early success with it as well. And as I say, it's that really strong capability that can be for the full nuclear estate. And I know Forth, for example, they diversify out into oil and gas, and the thought of really highly there. Yeah. Again, we've got these really strong local companies that I believe that iSH can just enhance that company as well.
And the great thing is that we're all going to be here on the iSH Enterprise Campus here in Cleator Moor together, where you're based, where Forth have their facility. So we're going to be attracting more of that supply chain here to collaborate together, to kind of co-locate and encourage that innovation, that collaboration in one place, which, I think it'll just happen automatically. It's about bringing people together, isn't it? And then the magic happens, I think.
It's a collaboration piece. Yeah. And it's what we try and do within the facility is the real open door policy and say yes to everything and then figure it out. And sometimes that can be a little bit frustrating for the team, but they still do it. So I can't be any more proud of the team, where as difficult as it can be to see, we're a problem solving team. So if someone comes to us with a problem, it doesn't matter what the problem is, it's a problem. So you've got to kind of solve it out. And if someone comes with a school visit and a specific ask or a community ask or anything like that, it's like, we like now more than solving that problem and putting on a really special day. So again, it's that kind of thing of, we've got so many different kind of legs and opportunities that we can do, that we do it. So the door is open, and we love working with supply chain. We get them in as much as we can. And then it's the challenge to us as well. Yeah. So the different people coming in, where we get on our sprints now, we have UTC students. So we're really proud of that. We've had Lakes College students in the past. We have Bendal's apprentices now come on it as part of their the apprenticeship, which is like absolutely brilliant for us. Really, and so that really does feel like a strong community feel. But again, I do feel like we're just the foundation.
Well, that's been really, really interesting. I'm always fascinated by everything that you do here at the Centre of Excellence, but also by just your passion and your ambition here to solve problems and to help develop capability and educate and help people learn and be part of something special. And I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for taking part in our podcast. And I really enjoy working with you as well.
No, thank you. I say we really enjoy working with yourself, Miranda, as well, and iSH. And it's just, for me, it's just that full credit to the team, where, as I say, they're the driving force. They're the people that push all of the time to do the right thing. So do the right thing in the right place at the right time. So I can't thank them enough.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.